Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're really getting into something fascinating for anyone in self-publishing.
That's right. We're looking at public domain content.
Exactly. Think of it like finding literary gold that's, totally free to use and figuring out how to shine it up for today's readers.
Mm-hmm. It's about taking works that maybe feel a bit dated and making them fresh again.
So our mission here is really to explore how you can leverage these older copyright-expired works, how you can build something new on that foundation.
Turning old into new opportunities, basically.
Okay, so let's start with the basics. Public domain. What does that actually mean for a self-publisher? Is it just like really old books?
Well, yes and no. It means the copyright on a creative work, typically a book in this context, has expired.
Expired, okay.
So it's no longer owned exclusively by anyone. This means you, me, anyone can use it, adapt it, even sell versions of it without needing permission or paying royalties.
Right, no fees.
None. The time it takes for copyright to expire, it varies. Depends on when it was published, the country's laws. It gets a bit complex there.
Sure.
But the main point is there's this huge growing library of material out there. It's a massive opportunity. Almost like, well, upcycling old literature.
Upcycling literature, I like that. So it's not just about finding an old book and hitting publish, right? What are some creative ways people can actually repurpose this stuff?
Oh, there are loads. I mean, the obvious one is different formats. Take a classic novel, turn it into an audiobook. That's reaching a whole new audience right there.
Makes sense. People love audiobooks.
Or you could pull great quotes for social media graphics. Easy content. But where it gets really interesting is putting your own spin on it.
How so? Like changing the story?
You could. Imagine taking, say, a classic adventure story, but setting it in modern times. Or changing character perspectives. You're free to do that because there's no copyright holding you back.
Huh. So, like a sci-fi version of Pride and Prejudice?
Why not? Or maybe less drastic things, like adding value. Commissioning a fantastic new cover that screams, "Read me," to a modern audience.
Okay.
Or creating companion materials like worksheets or discussion guides. You're not just republishing, you're enhancing.
Yeah, and the pool keeps growing, you mentioned.
Every year, hundreds, sometimes thousands of books enter the public domain. So the resource just gets bigger and bigger.
Wow. Okay, so the creative potential is huge. Let's talk profit. How can self-publishers actually make money from this? Our sources pointed to a few key strategies. First one, print books to digital.
Right. This is often seen as low-hanging fruit.
Why is that?
Because think about it, any book that entered the public domain before, say, 2019 was originally only in print. Ebooks weren't a thing back then.
Big point.
So just by creating a clean, well-formatted ebook version, you're instantly making it available to the massive digital market, people who read on Kindles, tablets.
And how do you do that? Just scan it.
You could scan existing pages, but that often needs a lot of cleanup. Or you can retype and format it properly. Either way, you're providing accessibility that wasn't there before.
Got it. That seems pretty direct. Another idea was adding illustrations. How does that work?
Visuals are powerful, right? Especially for certain genres. Think about classic children's stories or poems.
Definitely.
Taking those timeless texts and pairing them with fresh modern illustrations, that creates a whole new product, something parents today would pick up.
So you'd maybe collaborate with an artist?
Exactly, unless you're an artist yourself.
Yeah.
It's about adding that visual layer that makes the old feel new and engaging, particularly for younger readers.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. What about the book cover itself? You mentioned that earlier, is adding value.
Absolutely critical. Your cover is your first impression. It's like marketing 101.
True.
We know from, well, tons of studies that cover design is really subjective. What appeals in one culture might not in another. Different age groups respond differently.
Like movie posters looking different in different countries.
Precisely that. So investing in a really good modern cover designed for your specific target audience can make a public domain book stand out from, potentially dozens of other basic editions. It gives it a fresh identity.
A new wrapper for a classic. I get it. Okay, next strategy, translation. This sounds like it could massively expand reach.
Huge potential. I mean, think about the number of languages spoken worldwide. Thousands.
Right.
You take a public domain work, maybe something originally in English, and translate it well into, say, Spanish or Mandarin or Hindi, you're opening up enormous new markets.
That sounds like a significant income stream potential.
It can be, but the key word there is well. Translation is a real skill. You need someone who truly understands both languages and the nuances of the original text. A bad translation kills the value.
Yeah, you don't want to lose the original magic. Quality is key. Okay, last strategy we looked at, simplifying the content.
This one's interesting. It reminds me of that Einstein quote.
If you can't explain it simply, you don't understand it well enough.
That's the one. So applying that here, maybe you take a really dense old philosophical text
Okay.
and you reorganize it. Maybe add summaries, make the core ideas easier to grasp for someone who's not an academic.
Yeah.
Or adapt classic literature like Shakespeare with simpler language for younger readers.
Or even just updating really archaic English.
Exactly. Just making it more readable for a contemporary audience can make a huge difference. You're essentially making the complex accessible.
So really, there are tons of angles, from like straightforward digital formatting to completely reimagining a story or translating it.
Yeah, a whole spectrum of approaches, simple to complex.
It seems the core idea is taking these freely available literary assets and finding creative ways to connect them with readers today.
That's it in a nutshell. Recognizing the value that's already there and adding your own value on top.
This has been really illuminating. It certainly paints the public domain not as a dusty archive, but as a vibrant resource for creators and entrepreneurs. It really makes you think, doesn't it? What forgotten classic, what piece of public domain work could you potentially bring back to life for a whole new audience? It's something worth exploring.